about the drama and all that. She cared about her family, her friends, her daughters. She was very strong, the life of a party, and she just liked to have fun. So we just never expected to be here doing all this for her because she didn't deserve any of this. But my sister was a very genuine person who just wanted to live and take care of her daughters.
It was the early hours of January 1st, 2023 in Athens, Alabama, a time when most families were asleep, still basking in the afterglow of New Year's celebrations. But for Alexis Garth, a 26-year-old mother of two, that night would be the end of her journey. Just hours after welcoming the promise of a new year, she would find herself in a confrontation that would tragically end her life. Standing in her driveway, holding her 8-month-old daughter in her arms, and with her 3-year-old daughter hiding beneath a nearby car, Alexis became the victim of a brutal shooting by the man who had once been her own partner and father of her youngest child. What happened that morning was no random act of violence. Chiron, recently released from prison, stood in front of Alexis that night with deadly intent, setting off a series of events that would forever change the lives of everyone around them. How did this tragedy unfold, and what led to a mother's tragic death just days after her abuser's release from prison? But before Alexis met her death, let me take you back to where she crossed paths with her killer and where it all began.
She don't see us? You see me?
Yeah. Yes, I see you. You see me?
Hell yeah, I see you. Both of us sitting here looking like two big Barneys. We see each other.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out?
Alexis Laparian Garth was born on August 11, 1996 in Athens, Alabama. From the very beginning, she carried within her a spark of resilience and ambition that would define her short but impactful life. At just 26 years old, Alexis had already established herself as a woman of remarkable strength, a daughter, a mother, and a friend whose vibrant personality left an impression on everyone she met. She was the epitome of determination, known not only for her radiant smile and warm spirit, but also for her unwavering love for her family. Alexis didn't just want to live, she wanted to thrive, to rise above challenges, and to make a meaningful difference in the world around her. Growing up in Athens, Alexis attended Tanner High School, where she excelled academically and displayed a natural gift for caring for others. Teachers and classmates alike noticed her compassion and drive, qualities that made her stand out. Her passion for helping people led her to pursue a career in healthcare, enrolling at Calhoun Community College to study physical therapy and rehabilitation. She dreamed of a future where she could restore hope and healing to those in need. Friends recall how Alexis balanced her studies with part-time work, never allowing obstacles to deter her path. Her perseverance was a constant reminder that success is not about ease, but about determination. Yet, despite her busy academic and professional aspirations, Alexis's greatest devotion was to her family. She was a proud and loving mother to her two daughters, 3-year-old Alani and 8-month-old Kamani. Her girls were her world, and she poured her heart and soul into raising them with love, stability, and opportunity.
DJ Fahad Hussein.
I'm looking for a yellow bone, long hair star, thick in hips, come get in my car. So
Today I had my maternity shoot, and here is a sneak peek of how it went.
In January 2022, Alexis reached a milestone that symbolized her resilience and independence. She became a homeowner. Purchasing her own house in Athens was more than just a financial achievement. It was a declaration of victory over adversity. She shared her joy on social media with a picture with her boyfriend, 20-year-old Chiron Yarborough, with words that captured her spirit. For Alexis, this home was not just a building, it was a sanctuary, a foundation for her daughters and a symbol of the future she was building against all odds. Her story was a testament to perseverance, to overcoming challenges, and to never losing sight of one's dreams. Sadly, Alexis's body would be killed in the driveway of her own home. Alexis's journey reflected the essence of resilience, proving that even in the face of hardship, hope and determination can carve out a brighter path. Her dreams weren't simply about material success, they were about creating a legacy of love, stability, and opportunity for her children. But Alexis's dreams and bright future would come to an abrupt and heartbreaking end on January 1st, 2023. For months, Alexis had been in a troubled relationship with Chiron Yarborough, who had a history of violence. Just like many cases we've covered here, Alexis and Chiron's relationship was filled with love, and they often shared pictures and videos on social media, giving their friends and family a glimpse into their happy life together. Although Chiron was 6 years younger than Alexis, their bond was undeniable. She often spoke of how he treated her with more kindness and respect than she had experienced in past relationships, and that love gave her hope for the future. Their bond seemed to grow even stronger when they discovered they were expecting their first child, 8-month-old Kamani. The joy of becoming parents brought them closer, and their excitement was obvious. Their posts reflected the anticipation and happiness they felt about this new chapter in their lives. Chiron was not just an expectant father, he was also a present and involved partner. He actively participated in every aspect of the pregnancy, attending doctor's appointments, helping Alexis with preparations for the baby, and showing constant support. Little did they know, the happiness that had been building would soon take a tragic turn, changing everything in an instant. Their relationship, which began in late 2021, quickly escalated. What started as a new romance soon became a dangerous and controlling situation, one in which Alexis found herself trapped. Chiron's violent past was well documented by local authorities. Before the age of 18, Chiron had already encountered law enforcement multiple times, showing a tendency towards aggression and violent outbursts. In 2019, at just 16 years old, Chiron was charged in connection with the shooting of 3 other juveniles. The incident began after Chiron, who had been bullying several youths, was confronted by one of them who decided to stand up to him. A physical altercation broke out, after which Chiron left the scene. But his violence would reach a new level. He soon returned, armed with a handgun, and drove back to where the group of juveniles had gathered outside. Upon exiting the vehicle, Chiron opened fire, discharging multiple rounds. 2 bullets struck the boy from the earlier fight, one hitting his stomach and another his leg. A second male juvenile was shot in the leg, while a third, a female, narrowly escaped serious injury when a bullet grazed her shirt. After his conviction in 2019, Chiron received a 36-month suspended sentence and was placed on probation for 24 months. However, after violating his probation terms, he was ordered to serve time in state jail. Despite his sentence not being scheduled to end until May 2023, Chiron was granted mandatory release on December 2, 2022, under the ruling of District Judge Gray West. But his criminal history didn't stop there. Chiron continued to violate his probation terms, and in 2022, he was sentenced to a 36-month prison term for his repeated offenses. However, this sentence was shorter than it should have been. Despite his violent tendencies, Chiron was released from prison just 10 days before the tragedy, on December 22, 2022, under a mandatory release program. This decision, made by the justice system, would prove to be disastrous. Alexis had been trying to leave him and had started quietly making plans to escape the abusive relationship, but Chiron's release sent everything into a tailspin. On January 1, 2023, just hours after ringing in the new year, Chiron showed up at Alexis's home on Oakdale Ridge Lane. The scene that unfolded would forever change the lives of Alexis's family, friends, and community. Alexis stood in her driveway, holding her 8-month-old daughter, Kamani. Her 3-year-old daughter, Alani, sensing the danger, had already hidden beneath a nearby car. In a terrifying moment, Chiron, who had been free for just 10 days, confronted Alexis and opened fire. Within moments of their arrival, 5 gunshots rang out, striking Alexis while she held her daughter in her arms. Alexis's final moments were spent trying to protect her children, even as her own life was taken in front of them. When police officers arrived at the scene of the shooting at approximately 4 a.m. on January 1, 2023, they found a chaotic and heartbreaking situation. Alexis had been shot in the driveway of her own home, and 2 of her children had witnessed the violence. The officers immediately assessed the situation. Alexis was gravely injured and was rushed to Huntsville Hospital, where she later succumbed to her injuries. Alani, the 3-year-old, had hidden under the car and was physically unharmed. Kamani, the infant, was quickly secured by first responders. Chiron was arrested without further incident. He was taken into custody and transported to Limestone County Jail, where he was held without bond. The police recovered the weapon used in the shooting and secured the scene. Chiron now faced capital murder charges given the brutality of the crime and the fact that it occurred in front of Alexis's children. As the investigation unfolded, it quickly became apparent that Chiron was no stranger to law enforcement. His history of violent behavior, both before and during his time in prison, painted a chilling picture of the man who had just 10 days earlier walked out of jail and into the life of Alexis again. But this time, Alexis's life would come to a tragic and violent end. Local authorities immediately began collecting evidence from the crime scene and speaking to witnesses. Brock Suggs, a neighbor who had heard the terrifying events unfold, recalled hearing the frantic voices just before the shots were fired. His account was crucial as he witnessed the aftermath and gave a clear statement to the police. Neighbors like Kathy Wells, who worked for Crisis Services of North Alabama, also expressed their shock and devastation.
Now, Daquan, the lady you spoke with works with Crisis Services of North Alabama. She tells us domestic violence cases like this happen almost every day.
That's right, Sean. Unfortunately, Kathy Wells tells me she sees domestic violence cases now more than ever. She wants victims of domestic violence to understand there are resources available to help keep them safe.
It's a strange feeling knowing she'll never be there again.
Early Sunday morning, 26-year-old Alexis Garth was shot and killed near the 22,000 block of Oakdale Ridge Lane in Athens. She was the victim of a domestic violence shooting, the second since Thursday. Kathy Wells with Crisis Services of North Alabama was Garth's next-door neighbor, but their relationship was only cordial.
I've gone over and over in my mind questioning what could I have done differently? And I don't know what I could have done differently.
She's worked with domestic violence victims for more than 40 years, but tells me she's seen more cases now than she has in the past. Wells stressed the number of resources available for people who find themselves in similar situations, including 2 shelters Crisis Services has available in the region. She also says people shouldn't look at domestic violence as a personal issue or a family issue, but rather a community issue.
What we have found is that sometimes people, it goes in one ear and out the other unless they need it or they know someone who needs it. And then only when they need it or when someone they know needs it do they pay a lot of attention to it.
Many had been unaware of the severity of the abusive situation Alexis was facing, noting how victims of domestic violence often isolate themselves, making it harder for outsiders to recognize the danger. The Athens Police Department launched a full investigation into the shooting. The evidence quickly painted a disturbing picture. Chiron had been controlling Alexis even from prison, maintaining constant communication, monitoring her every move, and issuing threats of violence. Alexis had been planning to escape him, but the release of her abuser from prison was the catalyst for the final confrontation. Investigators noted how Alexis had attempted to keep her plans to leave him a secret, making every effort to protect her children from witnessing the violence that had already consumed her life. Authorities gathered testimonies from her family, friends, and neighbors. They also confirmed Chiron's criminal history, which included multiple charges and probation violations. Despite this, he had been released on a mandatory release program that placed him back on the streets just days before Alexis's murder. The investigators raised serious questions about the effectiveness of the justice system and the timing of his release, which in this case led to devastating consequences. Alexis's family and community were left to grapple with the devastating loss of a young mother whose life had been taken too soon by the hands of someone she had once trusted. Her death left an indelible mark on everyone who knew her. But perhaps most disturbing of all was the fact that Chiron still had supporters. In the aftermath of the murder, individuals sympathetic to Chiron began posting online, voicing their support for him across social media platforms. The reaction was deeply painful for Alexis's family, who were already grappling with unimaginable loss. Her mother, Shunetta Garth, took to Facebook Live to confront those defending Chiron, speaking directly to the community and challenging the narrative of support that had begun to surface. For Shunetta, it was not just about defending her daughter's memory, it was about making sure the truth of Alexis's story was heard above the noise. She shared that on that day, Alexis began her day by visiting her mother at her residence before heading to Huntsville to meet friends. Later, her boyfriend Chiron arrived to drive her back home after the visit. Not long afterward, several family members went to Buck Keys, where Alexis's sister realized she had accidentally left her keys inside Alexis's vehicle. Alexis met her sister at a nearby store, returned the keys, and then went back home. Shortly after, Alexis placed a frantic call to her sister, asking her to come pick up her child. During the call, Alexis could be heard crying, pleading with Chiron to back away from her while he held a gun. Her mother, Shunetta Garth, recalled hearing Chiron's chilling words in the background. Alarmed, Shunetta immediately dialed 911 and rushed towards her daughter's house. When Shunetta arrived, she saw both Alexis and Chiron lying in the driveway. At first, she believed they were being detained while officers investigated the domestic dispute. But then she heard an officer urgently call for a medic bag, and as she cried out for her 3-year-old granddaughter, the devastating reality began to sink in. In the wake of Alexis's death, her family and community were left in a state of disbelief and sorrow. Alexis's mother, Shunetta Garth, and her sister, Miracle Scott, were particularly devastated by the loss of their daughter. Shunetta, who had been Alexis's greatest support system, was heartbroken by the brutal loss of her daughter. The emotional toll on the family was immeasurable. Miracle Scott, Alexis's sister, found herself struggling to comprehend the events that led to her sister's murder. She channeled her grief into advocacy, speaking out about domestic violence and the need for better support systems for victims who are trying to escape dangerous relationships. She became a voice for those who had been silenced, especially those like Alexis, who had tried to leave but couldn't break free in time.
Was a kind, loving person. She cared nothing about the drama and all that. She cared about her family, her friends, her daughters. She was very strong, the life of a party, and she just liked to have fun. So we just never expected to be here doing all this for her because she didn't deserve any of this. But my sister was a very genuine person who just wanted to live and take care of her daughters.
The Athens community was equally affected. What should have been a time of celebration and renewal, New Year's Day, had become a day of mourning. The community rallied to support Alexis's children, with neighbors, friends, and even local businesses offering financial support. Local businesses helped cover the funeral expenses, and others raised awareness about domestic violence in Alexis's honor. Candles were lit and memorials were created around the neighborhood to honor her memory. Despite the overwhelming sadness, the outpouring of support showed the strength and resilience of the Athens community. But Alexis's story also ignited important conversations about domestic violence and its impact on families. Local advocates used this tragedy as an opportunity to educate the public about the signs of abuse and how to protect victims. On January 8, 2023, the Reynolds Funeral Home in Decatur, Alabama, opened its doors to the hundreds of mourners who came to pay their respects to Alexis Laparian Garth. The funeral was a somber occasion, as family, friends, and community members gathered to honor a woman who had been taken too soon. The next day, the Round Island Creek Mission Center in Athens was filled to capacity as people from all walks of life came to say goodbye to Alexis. Shunetta Garth and Miracle Scott were surrounded by family and friends, all struggling to come to terms with the enormity of the loss. It was a day of collective mourning, but it was also a day of reflection and determination. During the funeral, Alexis's family spoke of her dreams and her aspirations, remembering her not for the tragic way her life ended, but for the woman she had been, a loving mother, a dedicated daughter and sister, and someone with so much potential. The family was determined to carry on Alexis's legacy, especially for her young daughters, Alani and Kamani, who had lost their mother in such a violent and senseless way. The family's grief was palpable, but their resolve to honor Alexis's memory, protect her children, and continue her entrepreneurial dreams grew stronger with each passing day. Through the overwhelming grief of losing her daughter, Shunetta Garth found a way to channel her pain into something that would honor Alexis's memory and keep her dreams alive. In a beautiful and courageous act of resilience, Shunetta launched a new venture through her boutique. This initiative was about so much more than just commerce. It became a heartfelt tribute to Alexis's entrepreneurial spirit and her unwavering ambition. Alexis had always dreamed of owning a successful business, and Shunetta, despite her immense sorrow, poured her energy into fulfilling that vision for her daughter. Every product sold, every customer served became a testament to Alexis's dreams, which Shunetta was determined to see realized. By merging her grief with her love for her daughter's dreams, Shunetta created a lasting legacy that reflected Alexis's strength, creativity, and passion. OK Boutique was no longer just a business, it was a symbol of hope, perseverance, and a mother's dedication to keeping the memory of her daughter alive.
Through this venture, Shunetta not only honored Alexis's memory, but also built a bridge from tragedy to triumph, turning her daughter's dreams into a living reality. Domestic violence is an epidemic that often hides in plain sight. Alexis's story is a reminder that systems meant to protect victims often fail them, and in some cases, it's too late for a second chance. The timing of Chiron's release from prison, combined with his history of violence, was a ticking time bomb. The tragedy that occurred on New Year's Day raised serious questions about how we handle mandatory release programs and probation violations for violent offenders. What can we do to prevent another Alexis? The answer lies in awareness, action, and support. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, there is help available. Please share this video with your friends and family and raise awareness about the signs of abuse. Your one click could save someone's life. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can honor Alexis's legacy by creating a world where victims of domestic violence are heard, protected, and supported. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.